One of the things that I absolutely love talking about on the internet.com, one of the things I absolutely love covering is what is going on in our K-12 education system, what is going on in our public schools, what we are allowing, and the negative impacts of certain policies that people on both the left and the right advocate for. And a perfect example of this is the proliferation of Satanist groups in our K-12 education system, because what ends up happening is that we end up with two different and competing stances in terms of introducing religious values into our public schools. There are some people who believe that there should be an ironclad separation of church and state, thus meaning that the church and the state should not be involved, and that should apply through our K-12 education system. However, there's another view that is taking hold in this country, a view that I think should be less popular than it actually is, but unfortunately it seems to be gaining traction, which is this idea that you can have the religious institutions involved in the schools, but you have to be totally neutral. And a consequence of that is the fact that we have a bunch of Satanist clubs on our campuses. Now, to be clear, a bunch of these Satanist clubs are not genuine. In fact, I would guess that 99 to 100% of them are not a legitimate thing. I'm not trying to induce another satanic panic. A lot of this is atheist groups who want the separation of church and state in our K-12 education system, making a point. But the thing is, when you allow religious doctrine and religious clubs in our public schools, this is essentially what you can expect as a result, because some people need to make their point in dramatic ways in order to push back against what they believe to be religious indoctrination. Now, to be clear, so I'm not hiding my cards, where I fall on this issue is the separation of church and state in our K-12 education system. I don't think it's a good idea for either the church or the state to commingle in this way, because if I were somebody who was deeply religious, let's say I was Catholic, because Fitzgerald, Irish, Puerto Rican on the other side, most people would expect by my name and my heritage for me to be a Catholic. I would not be confident in our K-12 education system that has things like drag queen story hour in our public schools to actually teach Catholicism in an adequate way, in a way that I would be happy with. And that is just the issue of one faith aligning with the faith of the parent. What if I were a Protestant and the school were teaching Catholicism badly and I didn't like that? Then what would I do? A lot of these public schools are zip code schools. So essentially, if you don't have the money to move or send your kid to a private school, you're essentially stuck with the indoctrination that you have. This is one of the reasons why I would separate it out. But another great example of why you would want to do this is because of the proliferation of these Satanist clubs, which are ridiculous. They're absurd. I know they're to prove a point, but it's just not logical to me to ever go down this track, because if you actually believed in Satan, you should know that he's the bad guy. Why would you jump on that team? It's like traveling back in time and purchasing a ticket for the Titanic. I guarantee you, it's a sinking ship. Trust me, I know the story, at least the cliff notes of it. He doesn't win in the end, and the people that follow him don't tend to benefit all that much in the next life. But regardless, let's throw it over to my absolutely favorite thing to watch now, which is local news from around the country, and let's get into this story.
The after-school Satan Club met for the first time here at Holmes Elementary. This has controversy brewing throughout the school district.
Okay, so first of all, I was not expecting, when I watched this local news report, to be confronted with the lovely Danielle Diendak. Diendak? I'm not exactly sure how it's pronounced, but this woman is pretty cute. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, like, her eyes are really blue, and it's definitely attention-catching, and that name really sticks out. You got the alliteration, and it's kind of sad that over in Wilmington, Ohio, they trotted this woman out into the freezing cold, where she clearly looks uncomfortable, to report a ridiculous story like this. Also, her Twitter handle's right there. Let me go over and give her a follow. 2,600 followers. Really, guys? Go follow this nice lady. Super cute, really solid blue eyes, and now I'm gonna have to check on her Instagram, because we dive deep into these stories because you guys expect the facts. 1,800 followers on Instagram. Come on, guys. Really? Seriously? Honestly? what are you doing with your lives? I've seen the women that you follow on Instagram. None of them are as classy as Danielle Dindak. I forgot how to pronounce her name, but that does not alter the point. Go follow this nice lady on Instagram. Consider it a late Christmas present, not only to her, but to yourselves. I mean, the lady even likes dogs, so what more could you ask for? Total catch for you guys out there in the cold, reporting on ridiculousness like the Satanic Club. Go give her a follow. And for those of you who are already leaving comments saying that I'm engaged, yes, I'm engaged. Obviously, I'm not talking about for me. I am highlighting the facts and the details for you out there in the audience, because that's who I am. A great guy who does community service, who pays attention to things, who is distracting from the fact that I'm currently talking about a satanic temple story because it's completely and utterly absurd. But let's just roll into the segment. You guys, I'll leave her links in the description for you. Go check it out. You follow way less classy people on your own social medias, and we both know it. And by the way, you should definitely follow me on Twitter and Instagram for sure.
Controversy brewing throughout the school district and the community.
I let my kids believe in whatever the hell they want to believe in, as long as they're happy and it's not hurting them or hurting someone else.
You know, it's funny. We spent a lot of time on the looks of the reporter reporting this story, and this is because it was great prelude, because you guys already knew that the parent that was behind the Satan Club in this public school was, of course, going to look exactly how she looked. Let's take note of all the markers that you guys need to notice in order to identify somebody's politics without even speaking to them. First and foremost, you have the dye. And of course, dyeing your hair does not make you a leftist or a right-winger, but typically that like inhuman red, that just regular red that is not how redheads actually are, combined with the cat ears, combined with the feminism glasses, tells you all you need to know. And of course, she's presenting herself as this very live and let live kind of person as she's setting up a Satanist club, which is clearly done to be in contrast to the religious club.
I let my kids believe in whatever the hell they want to believe in, as long as they're happy and it's not hurting them or hurting someone else.
Now look, this woman just stated a position that on its surface I agree with. I don't care what you guys believe in. I don't care what your religion is or anything like that. I want you guys to feel happy in whatever gods you worship, as long as you follow the rules of society, as long as it doesn't negatively impact me. However, this is clearly not this woman's stance. She can dress this up as a goofy thing or anything like that, but she is in reality an anti-Christian. That is what this person is. This is not about not having a belief. Your religious practices don't bother me. This is about being in opposition to Christianity. This is why she set up this group to worship the devil of Christianity, because she's trying to send a message to the probably mostly Christian community in Wilmington, Ohio. That is what this person actually believes. So this live and let live attitude is not legit. This is just like, hey, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna go to your face, and you guys are gonna have to take it.
Christina Long sorts through her kids' bag.
Got some pencils and we got a sticker.
New school supplies from her kids' new group, the After School Satan Club.
So two things, and we all gotta be fair to everybody. That logo, absolutely hilarious. That version of the devil cracks me up. I'm on board with it. But equally as hilarious is the motion graphics guy over at this local news station.
Did your kids have fun today?
Oh yeah, they had a blast. They can't wait for the next one.
It's sponsored by the Satanic Temple. The after-school program is
having an absolute blast using fire wipes as a transition. Because get it? Satan, get it hell, get it fire and brimstone. I'm having fun. Everybody's having fun. Danielle appears to be having fun, at least in this part of the segment, even though in the beginning, she was definitely freezing.
The after-school program is popping up around the nation, and in many schools that also give space to Christian groups. In Ohio, there's 3. Lebanon, Eaton, and now Wilmington.
So again, as I said, this is a consequence of people trying to have their religion enforced in the public schools, because it forces the school boards to adopt this religious neutrality stance when all they want to do is introduce Christianity. And I think this is a ridiculous stance to take, because again, the public schools are not going to be good vectors of Christianity in the first place. These are the people that are going to teach a bastardized version of your faith anyway, so why would you not only trust them to do it, incentivize them to do that, but give space for these satanic groups to run an opposition group in the public schools? This is all wasted energy. You can have your own religious institutions, instill your own beliefs in your children. You don't have to actually spread them through the public schools schools, and this is the most predictable consequence of that mindset of trying to get the schools to do it, essentially outsourcing the parenting and outsourcing the religious institution to the government.
We look to Satan as a symbol for standing up to tyrannical authority. To us, Satan is a symbol. It's like Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy.
So here you have this woman saying, oh, Satan's a rebellion against tyranny and all that jazz. Complete and utter nonsense, completely ridiculous, completely absurd. And then she goes on to say that Satan doesn't exist. Again, this is something that I just don't get amongst the atheists. I understand you're trying to get the Christianity out of the school by pulling a stunt. I understand that component of it. But why are you praising the guy that is clearly set up to be the bad guy? It's ridiculous and absurd, and Danielle's actually going to make fun of them later in this segment.
The new group isn't about conjuring up spells. Instead, June Everett, the After School Satan Club National Director, says it's about critical thinking, creative expression, and inclusion.
We don't talk about Satanism, even though we are non-theistic, meaning we don't believe, again, in a supernatural Satan. We don't push it on the kids.
Now, again, I guess what they're trying to say is, hey, they just call it the Satan Club, but they don't really talk about that. They're not trying to indoctrinate kids in that. They're just doing this as a way to kind of push back against the religious curriculum being instilled in the public schools. And all this, the desensitization to Satan and all that, is again the consequence of trying to include religious indoctrination rather than working to fight out and root out the leftist indoctrination, which is a much more prevalent and pernicious religion in our public school system.
Playing devil's advocate is Jane Johns. She stands alongside others that question the Satan Club's motives.
Who says women aren't funny? Look at Danielle dropping the comedy. She's talking about how the people who are against the Satan's Club are playing devil's advocate. You know, when she wrote that portion of the bit, she was smiling to herself. You know, she thought that would be funny, claiming that the devil's advocate portion is against the actual devil club. A+ material, first class all the way, and jokes are so much funnier when you have a guy on the internet.com explain them to you. But I just want you guys all to know, and I want you to all see Danielle, who went out and froze in the cold for this ridiculous segment, and now she's cracking jokes.
Stands alongside others that question the Satan Club's motives.
But I think most people are frightened by hearing that. I mean, that is a little, uneasy to take in.
Again, local news has become my new favorite thing, my guilty pleasure, if you will. And it's not only because of the broadcasters cracking jokes, the weird motion graphics, and all of that. It's also because of the people that they interview. You have this woman who's opposed to the Satan Club, and she's like, with a name like the Satan Club, I think that maybe we should question the motivation of those people. Because I don't know if you guys are aware of this, when you name your club after somebody or an entity that is known for having, what's that phraseology that I'm looking for? Ulterior motives? That's probably an indication that maybe there's some ulterior motives.
I understand that we have to have both. If you allow one, you have to allow the other. But with Satanism, everything's linked to be evil. It's what we've been taught.
So again, I understand this person is a religious person. I understand that she deeply holds to her religious beliefs, but she has understood and identified the problem perfectly right here, and exactly why I think it's not only beneficial for the religious, but for the non-religious, and for the schools to separate the two, because you end up with absurd arguments like this about how, I guess, if we have one, we have to have the other. No, you just need to take your religious beliefs, keep them with you, and guess what? The other one would fade away because their whole existence is to make fun of you in the public square where you are allowed to function. If you didn't want to go in there and you wanted to have your own religious institution separate from the school, the Satan Club would go away.
This sticker was one of many things passed out to kids in their goodie bags this afternoon, and this group will meet once a month. Reporting in Wilmington, Danielle Dindak, WLWT.
So there she is holding the sticker. Again, the sticker's ridiculous. I get that the Satan group is trying to have a bit of fun while making a political point. And also, I probably should have listened to this video all the way through before trying to pronounce this woman's last name, because she just said it in her sign-off, and don't I feel goofy right now? But I want to leave this question up to you guys, because I know I probably have a much more religious following than I am religious myself, so I want to know what you guys think the solution is to situations like this. Do you think we should have the religious clubs, all of them available in the school, and we just deal with the fact that the Satanist group is going to exist to mock Christians? or do you think we should separate them out? Also, do you have any commentary about the fact about how none of these clubs exist to explicitly mock Islam? That's never a thing, and it's very interesting how Christians end up taking this in a kind of tongue-in-cheek way when this would not be tolerated from other religious groups that exist in this country and are quite dominant in certain school districts in this country. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on all my social media, support me via the support links in the description box of this video. This has been me talking about a goofy Satanist group. Till next time.